By the time this video comes out, I just got back from vacation. Literally yesterday, in fact.
Oh? Well, that's nice. How was your vacation?
I don't know. I'm recording this a week in advance in order to prepare and relax a bit.
Oh. Well, don't I feel awkward now?
I don't see why, really. I often do these sort of things. Of course, doing this will give me almost 2 weeks of free time, which I'm happy to get. This will also let me get some actual sleep.
Having trouble again?
Yeah, it's stupid cold in this void ship, and I'm sitting here being so tiny my body can't retain heat, so, well, I'm working on trying to build up some muscle, but I have no fat to burn and turn into muscle, so it's not resulting in much.
Have you thought about changing your diet?
Oh no, why would I ever thought of that as a type 1 diabetic? Would need to alter my diet in order to have an easier time trying to build muscle. No, I never thought of it. Of course I have. The food on this ship is high calorie and low fat with only the necessary levels of nutrients. Because of my dietary restrictions, I've had to make my own food. Luckily for me, it turns out Trazen likes to garden, so he's made it a lot easier. So that's a blessing there. But he doesn't garden much food per se, and doesn't really have any meats to eat. I have to get my hands on some things through stealth and just get lucky, and I'm not exactly physically capable of sneaking.
Why's that? You're small, like a ratling. You'd think you'd be better for it.
Bone problems. So many broken, and I'm starting to develop arthritis in my hips, so it's just hard to attempt. I stomp a lot, and the hollow floors lead to some sounds being very loud. But I should probably stop talking about random ass shit and get into the review. Today we'll be talking about—
David, you touch on the subject of your health essentially being shit, while also bringing up that your diet in real space sounds like it's killing you. You're just going to gloss over all that and get on with some review?
Yes I am. So let's talk about this game. Lowlife 2090. This game came out in, I think, 2021? That's when it became available on DriveThruRPG. I debated on playing Lowlife by Theory of a Deadman here, but I'd like this video to actually be seen. Now, this game is a cyberpunk fantasy style game, similar to Shadowrun, but it's got a lot of differences, so we'll go into it. I'll have to not go deep into everything, because there's a lot to this game, not just character creation. Now, character creation assumes you're going with random options, but let's be honest, while the book says experienced players might be capable of choosing, it's actually easier to play the game where you choose everything that goes together. Step 1 is race. There's 6. Human, elf, dwarf, scorn, minotaur, and spriggan. Let's talk about them real quick. Humans are your standard. They get an extra die in their reroll pool, which we'll need to go into, and an extra use of their class abilities. Honestly, humans might be the most overpowered, depending on a lot of things. Elves are immune to minor scar effects, while also getting night optics and an advantage on charisma-related checks. I'll need to look into what that means, because I doubt it's like 5th edition's advantage. Dwarves get infrared vision, which I'm starting to think people don't know what that is, and get 2 extra hit points and get advantage on resisting drugs, toxins, and adverse magic. Then we get into the more fancy races. Scorn are hairless brutes with broad jaws and flat cow-like teeth with inset noses and ears. They have advantage on strength checks, excluding attack and damage rolls, and on all dead or mostly dead checks, which I'm assuming and am willing to bet that's essentially a death saving throw. They also get infrared vision like the dwarves. Minotaurs are even bigger than the Scorn, and you know what a Minotaur looks like. They get horns that deal 1d10 melee damage or 1d12 on a nat 19. Wait, what kind of system is this using? Hold on. Okay. This is a D20 system that decided to have a one-night stand with Modifius's 2D20 system, and now that they have a baby, they're too embarrassed to talk about how they met at the club while doing so many drugs, neither of them is in the state that they started in. Minotaurs also get advantage on strength checks, as the Scorn do, and they often scare smaller races. I'll need to talk about the stupid D20 system, but after the Spriggans, they're also called Goblins. They get advantage on dex-based rolls, excluding attack and damage rolls, and they have night optics and can track people via their noses like the Bloodhounds. Now, I went into this thinking it was a D6 system for some reason, but this is apparently a wild-ass D20 system because there's two situations of what you want. You want high rolls for attack and damage checks and rolls, trying to get higher than your opponent's defensive number, but you want low numbers for attribute and skill checks, so you still want the highest number possible in those skills because you want to roll under those numbers, while the modifiers act the same as D&D, with 2 above 10 being a +1, and adding to the skills scores. Dear God, I'm almost at the end of room for this script, and there's still a lot to talk about. Only 10 levels in every class, 9 classes, 9 attribute scores, and a number of skills I've not talked about yet. High-risk system, including a magic system that can cause problems, and a recovery system that hates you, along with only getting 1 HP per level increased. Let's jump into classes real quick. Brawler is a close quarters combat dude with a specialization in melee. N-Tech is an engineer specializing in fucking with shit. Exarch looks like a wizard with a focus on using magic to get close and cut up. Gunhand is obvious, you gun. Hacker is your computer dudes, Infiltrator is your stealth boyo, Influencer is your face essentially, Mage is your magic man but ranged unlike the Exarch, and Vex is your vehicles expert, whether it's ground aircraft, boats, or rockets. Each one of these utilize a different stat which needs to be the highest. The attributes or stats are as follows: strength, dexterity, constitutions, intelligence, perception, willpower, charisma, and initiative. Each of these, for once, is pretty obvious. Now, the reroll pool. Apparently, you get a number of dice in your reroll pool equal to half your level rounded up. You can use these to reroll dice to get a check before you know if it succeeded or failed. And if you don't use the dice before you level up, you don't stack on top of that, you just get your maximum at the level up. Now, skills. Here's a list: acrobatics, athletics, computer, cybernetics, deception, demo, detection, disguise, and forgery. Driving, electronics, first aid, gather information, knowledge, leadership, mechanic, persuasion, piloting, remote controls, sailing, sleight of hand, stealth, and survival. There's also a luck system, but it's just not worth going into. I am not liking anything about this. The PDF is normally $20. The hardcover book is $50 USD, and none of this feels like it's worth it. Score 65%. I'm going to bed. Shove off.